know how he survives a -11. I don't know.
This is a story about a miracle that happened just 2 days ago with my best friend, Sabu. I still don't know how he got home. And if you don't believe in miracles, then this might not be the video for you. Wow. Okay, let's jump into it. I'm still pretty emotional. I'm still kind of letting it all set in. Because it's my best friend. Sabu's 10 and a half. We found him on the streets in fight or flight mode in Vegas. And it took a little bit for him to finally be mine, but through perseverance, I just always knew he was my soulmate. He was... if you've met him, then you know how special he is. And through this story, you're going to see how strong and resilient he is. Okay. Day one. I'm doing what people with long hair and beards do. They gather wood. And I was gathering wood outside. We had my friend, I'm in my friend Jeremiah's cabin right now, and he was on his way back up to the cabin, and I was out here with his mom was here, and the two dogs. They were outside playing, and so was Sabu. They're a little weenie dog, so they can't really go over the mounds of snow outside. But Sabu, he's an explorer. He loves to explore. And I go in the back, and I see his paw prints. I'm like, okay, I've got some track. Right now the sun's out, and he's got his little hipster blue shirt, which I was worried this was either gonna kill him or save his life, and we'll go more into that. So I follow the tracks in the backyard, and I follow them for about 1.5 miles. They intersect with a neighbor's house who also had a dog based on all the paw prints, and I lost him. I lost the trail. I called Jeremiah. Sabu went missing about 11:30 p.m. I called Jeremiah about 12:30. I said, "Hey man, I think we got a problem. I can't find Sabu." He quickly rushes to his truck and he drives down the street to this creek that, well, you can see right here. Jeremiah starts knocking on neighbors' doors and talking to anyone he sees. And somebody had spotted Sabu about 45 minutes ago right by that creek. And I didn't have my truck up here at the time because I just rolled up with him, and my Airstream's not here either. It's in Boise at Jeremiah's house. So he says, "Hey man, I got a 4-wheeler in the garage, hop on that, come on out." So I'm like, okay. I grab the 4-wheeler, drive out there. He's like, "I think these are his tracks." We look, they're fresh dog tracks. They're exactly where he was spotted. So, okay man, I'm gonna go in. And you can see here in this aerial footage that you can see all my footprints. I follow them in for about 1 mile, maybe 3/4 of a mile. Sabu turns around, comes back. It's getting close to 4 o'clock. I drive back to Jeremiah's house on the 4-wheeler, and I decide I'm gonna toss my drone up there. 4 o'clock, we still have 2 hours of sunlight. Sabu's gonna come up. I mean, this wouldn't happen to me. This wouldn't happen to him. I mean, come on. He's gonna be home. God, there's emotions. There's fear. There's sadness. There's empathy. There's, oh my God, what's he doing right now? Is he shivering to death? Is he curled up? Is he just laying in the snow ready to die? At that moment, I realized that I had to put those away if I was going to find him. I didn't allow myself to feel anything anymore. Those thoughts, all those thoughts, they're still tucked away in the subconscious, but they're gone. I'm literally a walking zombie with a mission at this point. And now it's dark. What do? I'm still lost. I'm becoming zombified. I'm not quite there yet. And Jeremiah's got to leave for a work trip the next day, so I need to have a vehicle to search for Sabu, which means driving an hour and a half back to Boise with Jeremiah to pick up my truck. So we leave. It's a snowstorm, of course. It's forecasted to be 18 degrees. We hop in Jeremiah's truck and we drive back to Boise. He got the ball rolling. He knew all the message boards. Here in Cascade, he put the word out. And in putting the word out, a lot of people recommended Lady and the Trap. It takes us a while to get back because of the snowstorm. Forecast to get a foot of snow that first night. And now I'm to drive back to here, Cascade, in the storm. So I get back about, 2 a.m. I'm spent, I'm tired. Tomorrow's gonna be an early rise. But what the hell am I gonna do? How do I do this? How do I do this alone? So Jamie had told me, okay, you need to print big flyers. Like I got the small ones from Jeremiah and I handed them out and I used them for in-person talking to people. But I needed bigger pink ones, big vibrant ones that didn't have his name on them. We're gonna go into some of the really important details that I learned through all of this. I made these flyers, I put them everywhere that I felt was a visible spot where people coming into town and out of town could see them, as well as the subdivision where Sabu went missing. I don't know if he ran off 10 miles away. I don't know what dogs do when they go missing. I don't know what he's going to do. I'm just focusing on putting up these flyers and setting up a scent station, which is something I would have never thought of. The whole next few days would revolve around scent stations and what they are. You cook bacon on the spot in an outdoor grill so that you can attract your dog back to that area. You rub your shirts in your armpits and all your private areas or underwear or socks, and you hang them so that your scent is there to hopefully draw your pet back to the area that they were last seen. Also rub some smelly sardines in oil, not water, because the oil won't freeze in these temperatures. And you put some wet dog food on top, and my little chef's kiss was hocking a loogie and putting it in his food. Yes, that's right. I'm going to admit to that. And then I'd pee on the tree next to it just to give it a little extra scent. So these are the scents that we're working with at these different locations. And then we set up trail cams so that any movement, any animals that come there, which will hopefully be your dog, will be captured on camera. You'll get an alert on your phone, and then 6 minutes later, we're at the spot, and we know that he's alive and well. And so every place that we had a sighting, which wasn't many, we set up one of those scent stations. It was really important to refresh them twice a day. Sunrise, sunset. I would have not even begun to know where to get all the stuff for scent stations and the trail cams. And so this is where Ladies in the Trap came in. They put together, over $1,000 worth of stuff. They stuck it in a bag for this total stranger with the cutest dog on earth that's missing. I was a little reluctant on day one to post on Sabu's page because there's also that feeling of you've let down your dog, and it's embarrassing. You lose your dog. You doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good to screw up or feel like you're a screw up, and then to let the world know hey, I lost my dog. Can you help? I hate asking for help. But I did on Sabu's page because I know that there's a lot of people that love him, that have met him along our journey. We live on the road. We've lived on the road for the last 6 years. He's my best friend. We do everything together. And that means we meet people together. I then accidentally, because Instagram like logged me out of Sabu's page and like auto logged me back into my photography page. And I posted the story thinking I was posting the story of the post on Sabu's page. And in fact, I did it on KRL, which is not what I wanted to do because I did not want the attention or the DMs, or I just figured my network was not going to be strong enough in this small town of Cascade. I think what Sabu did was he represented everybody else's loved one, everyone else's fur baby, and people became emotionally connected to this story, which is why I'm making this video, because I feel obligated to, one, share the story, and two, educate. I want you guys to learn what I learned through the process. But I didn't realize how much strangers are willing to help. We're all connected. Social media, we have the ability to connect with so many people. And Instagram buddy Zach reached out and said, hey man, whatever you need, what do you need? I'm like, oh man, God, are we still on day one? I'm so sorry with this story. I promise I'll speed it up a little bit. But there's a lot. It was a lot. And so Zach reaches out and says, hey man, whatever you need. I'm like, can you pick up this stuff that's gonna help me set up scent stations and yada yada. And also Anna's coming on a plane to Boise. Can you scoop her up too? Yeah, they picked all the cargo up, met me halfway during another snowstorm, because this is now, this is day 2, yeah. This is day 2. Day 3, we wake up early, we get to the scent stations. We learn about sightings from day 2 and day 1 on day 3. This is what caught my attention on, damn, like we need to spread this word, because we need these sightings to happen in real time when these people see them, and they need to know that Sabu is missing. So for me, the most important part of all of this was not for me to go out and find Sabu. I always believed that he was coming home by someone else's sighting. And in doing so, gotta spread the word. So after the scent stations, after we do that early morning, we drive into town, we get up some more signs, we talk to more people, and we find out that Sabu was seen yesterday in Whispering Pines, which is a subdivision right next door, about 2 miles as the crow flies from here. On this day, we meet an awesome dude named Ron, who I got to know a little bit more through this. And Ron is a cross-country skier, and I remember seeing him with, I think, his bourbon in his thermos, and he's just skiing around everywhere. And he's like, "Hey man, I know this area better than anyone." And he does. I really thought he was gonna be the one to find Sabu. Real nice guy. Ends up, as I'm driving around throughout the day, it's just like, I just see his tracks everywhere. And I remember like looking over Anna being like, how does he get up the hills? Like, how does he cover this much ground? The dude's a legend in the hills here. Jamie decides on day 4 that she's going to come out with her business partner, Heather. They bring up some more tools, but more importantly, they bring up their superpowers, which is finding and locating animals that are lost. Day 3 gave me a little bit more confidence in finding Sabu. I felt like the neighborhood all knew. Every store, I guess I forgot to mention, every store that I went into to hang flyers, whether it's a gas station or True Value or the grocery store, everyone said, "Oh yeah, Sabu, I know." "Oh, you still haven't found him?" So this small town just really came together as a community in finding Sabu. It was like magical. After day 3, it was exciting to know that it's confirmed that he's alive, because damn, 18 degrees, a foot of snow on day 1. How does he survive? I don't know, he did. And day 2, he was seen. But day 3, we get nothing. Starts to snow again on day 3, about midday. And we're forecasted to get another 12 inches. We end up getting 1.5 feet. Temperatures drop into low teens, single digits. It's no longer the luxury of day 1 where you're only getting 1 foot of snow and 18 degrees. It's colder and there's more snow falling. And we're multiple days in. But he was spotted, and then he wasn't spotted day 3. Day 4, he wasn't spotted either. Jamie and Heather decide to come up from Boise. I'm gonna go into these feelings a little bit. I bodybuilded for 15 years, competitively, which means getting my body sub 3% body fat, putting yourself through some pretty grueling diet and exercise regimens to compete on a bodybuilding stage based on your physique. And that was a passion for many, many years. The reason why I'm bringing that up is because I remember always feeling like a zombie, and I always thought it was the food, right? The lack of nutrients, the being sub 3% body fat. I always felt like that's why I would just kind of like walk around and like, you know, when it was time to work out, I'd kick it into high drive. When it was time to just like walk in normal life situations, I would be a zombie and just take it slow. Wasn't real emotional, couldn't really get me upset, couldn't really get me sad, didn't really feel much. I was just hyper focused to get what I needed to get done because I knew that this was only temporary, and once I achieved the goal, I can go back to being normal, and which I did. But I always thought it was food related until this situation when I realized that there was something bigger than me. And I'm not comparing a bodybuilding competition to finding the love of your life, your soulmate. But in a sense, you know that there's a task that needs to get done, and your body goes into preservation mode, and it figures out how it's going to get you to achieve the goal. And in this case, it's finding Sabu. And so I became that zombie that I was for many years leading up to bodybuilding shows. Only, you know, it's just weird making that connection. Still zombie mode. The ladies decide to come up from the traps. And I felt this kind of rejuvenation. I felt like these angels, these superpowers were like coming to lift me up, and they're going to take me to the promised land, and we're gonna find Sabu like immediately. And it felt good. Still a zombie, but a damn good feeling zombie. At the end of day 4, right at sunset, right after sunset, it's getting dark, we get a phone call. He says, hey, we just tracked a canine's tracks. We go and set up another scent station, because that's what you do when there's a spotting. You want to lure or keep your dog in that area so that we can find him. And we go there, and I'm like, feeling good, you know. I'm like, I got these angels with me. I've got all this support out there. I feel like the whole town is looking for Sabu. This is it. We got a fresh spot after 48 hours with no spots. Hell yeah. We're gonna get up bright and early before sunrise. We're gonna get there, and we are going to follow those tracks. Remember that clip you saw in the beginning of this video? It was -11. We followed those tracks. And they didn't pan out. It was -11. Fahrenheit for you Canadians. But I made that video, right? That video, I might have sounded real discouraged. This is the first time emotions kind of came up. I said, you know what, I'm gonna video this moment. Because when he's found, I'm gonna wish I videoed more, because I knew I wanted to tell this story. I didn't make that video because I wanted to relive the horror of him not making it. So making that video proves to me that I still believed that he was coming and there was going to be a happy ending. I knew he was coming. I didn't take much video during all of this. How can you, you know? I took a lot of drone video because, of course, trying to find him, and that's a lot of what I got. We go to breakfast after that morning. I'm fucking defeated. Inside. I'm pretty broken inside. But I said day 4. On day 5, that's the day we're gonna find Sabu. I felt it. I wasn't feeling it anymore. But you're still never gonna give up. That didn't mean I was gonna give up. I don't care what I feel. It doesn't make it real. It doesn't make it true. Just because I'm sad and I'm losing hope, it doesn't mean that there's not hope still. And I know that. We see Ron on his cross-country skis as we do every day, and when we don't see him in person, we see his tracks everywhere. We've got a small group of A-listers, Alex and Tammy and Ron and Anna and Heather and Jamie and myself in there, all the people who are actively out searching. And genius idea, by the way, by Ladies in the Trap. They created this group for the incredible humans that just want to help. But sometimes, if you don't have the knowledge on tracking lost animals, you could do more harm than good. That's why I strongly urge you to go to their website and learn all of the different techniques that they use, because I promise it's going to be a lot different than what your natural instincts say that you should do. And in doing so, they said, hey, we want to put these people who are helping out tremendously, who all mean well, and educate them so that we're all on the same page. So we're doing the same things, and we can help educate anyone else outside who wants to jump in and help. But this is not about a search party. This isn't about sending people out to the woods and calling your dog's name. You're not supposed to do that. Your dog's in fight or flight. They're scared. They don't know who their owner is. They may not even recognize their voice. So using their name could spook them and push them out of the area, and you want them to stay. They continue running. That's more risk, more risk, more risk. If you are searching for a dog, don't call their name. Look, if you spot them, call the person, call the owner. If they're in the area, throw some treats on the ground, sit on the ground, look the other way. Give yourself an angle to the animal like this. And don't look at them, just kind of look off to the side and wait for the owner to get there. There's so much more to learn. I really strongly encourage you to check them out. Their website, I'll probably link it right here. All right. All right, back to day 5, because spoiler alert, there's not a day 6. Where was I? I was crying. All right, let's get back to crying. Day 5, right? Oh, this is such a great story. This is good. Go to the scent stations, toss the drone up. I'm having issues with my drone. It says to contact support. So I'm like, crap. Let's go back to the cabin, see if there's an update for the drone. And on our way back, we stop by the infamous mailboxes that are between Gold Dust. I don't think I mentioned Gold Dust. That's where I am. That's where Sabu went missing. Gold Dust Subdivision and Whispering Pines. That was basically the 2 spots that were getting sightings for Sabu. So we're just driving back, and I stop, and I look to my right, I look up. about 40 yards, and I see these 3 golden retrievers. And they're like barking at me. They're all standing in a row, pretty stoic, you know. The alpha's in the middle. You could just tell he's or she is the alpha. And I say, hey, I know you know where Sabu is. Where is he? And the middle one, woof, woof. The one on the side, woof. And I won't bore you with the 6 or 7 or 8 minute conversation here, but I just went back and forth and pleading with them to call Sabu. And I look over it on him I'm like, these guys know where he is. And if we get them to keep on barking, they're loud, they're real throaty. And my voice is carrying. Maybe they'll call him back. Can't make this stuff up. We finish up the conversation, we drive back to the cabin, call up customer service, DJI. Jeremiah calls me. I'm like, Jeremiah, was he want an update? I mean, no, I'm dramatizing that, Jeremiah, because I know you're watching this. But I'm like voicemail, because to me, the most important thing is getting this drone fixed and back up in the air. And Jeremiah calls again. And so then I decide, I'm just gonna text him, hey man, I'm on the phone with DJI support trying to get my drone fixed. And he writes, I'm on the phone with a lady who sees your dog right now. Boom, click, grab the drone. Sabu's out there. And I'm doing 50 on the icy roads. And I'm like, Jeremiah, where I'm on 3-way with the lady who sees him, Darcy. And I'm like, Jeremiah, he goes, just make a right out of my driveway and then go like you're going towards the creek. So I'm doing about 50 heading there, and I realize, okay, it's pretty icy and I need to make it there. So I slow down to a slow 45. I'm talking to her, I'm just like, well, where are you? Because, the brain's not I'm like, oh my God, Sabu, you're just frantic. And so she says, I'm right by the mailboxes. I said, oh, okay. Are you the house that has the 3 golden retrievers? Yeah, that's me. That's me. Okay. Didn't have time to super connect that in the moment, but that's me. Okay, I know where you are. Yeah, I'll be right there. And I roll up. About 45 seconds before I roll up, she loses eyesight. She loses visual contact of Sabu. But black dog, blue shirt, right? The blue shirt. That's you. Yes, it's him. Okay, it was him. Okay, all right. We all pull up. We send out the group message, APB or whatever it is that you like. Sighting. He's there. Everybody kind of congregates there, and again, not to spook, right? So everyone's super careful about not calling him. We're just looking, can't see him. And so Heather jumps in her truck, and she's a hunter, so she's got this scope, and she drives up just a little bit. She uses her scope, and she looks down the road, and she sees this Sabu. And so she waves to Jamie to come, and Jamie's like, I never saw an arm move so fast in my life. Jamie's like this to me, and I'm like, oh my God! I jumped in my truck and I just floor it. And as I get closer, I see this. I see this on a black dog. And I practiced this over and over in my mind. What I would do when I see him. And so I stopped about 40 feet, 50 feet. I jump out of my Jeep. And I sit down on the snow immediately, sideways. And I yell, "You want to go bye-bye in the car? You want treats? Oh boy." And imagine who just comes out. And he comes running towards me. Oh, this guy. You came running towards me and you started licking my face like you hadn't seen me in 1,600 hours. It was actually 123 hours. And he wasn't dead. He wasn't frostbitten. He has a few abrasions on him, a few spots that I've been putting Neosporin on, and he's super skinny. But he came right over. I didn't call his name. I didn't say Sabu, because I wasn't sure if you were going to recognize me. And he just came. And I couldn't stop crying. Remember those emotions that I pushed down for so long? I'm gonna put him down now. I'm gonna lay down. Remember those emotions that I pushed down for so long? Well, damn. They erupted. I felt things I've never felt in my life. I felt pain. All the pain came at me. I mean, you'd think it would be just joy, right? It was joy. I was happy. I was relieved. But I was also in pain. I was angry. I started when I got back in my car, I started squeezing my steering wheel. I was so angry. I was so happy. And I was so thankful. And Ron pulls up, and Anna, Jeremiah's mom pulls up. Jeremiah's on the phone hearing all this, on speaker, because I've got my door open. He's over there crying. Everyone's crying. And I couldn't speak. I couldn't get words out. I physically couldn't get words out of my mouth to anyone. Wow. 123 hours. 5 days. Nobody took him in. Nobody saw him to take him in. I flipped him over and I looked at Jamie and I said, on his sternum, I said, "What's this? Is this a tumor?" And she said, "No, that's his bone." His head, when I touch his head right now, it's just bone. Everything is just bone right now. He was gone for 5 days. We didn't have any sightings of him because he figured out how to survive. How? I don't know. I don't know. But he figured out that he couldn't be out there in the cold and wet. I thought the t-shirt? I was so scared that this is what was going to kill him, because it was going to get wet and it was going to be frozen and it was going to kill him. Remember, I didn't have these thoughts during those 5 days, but they all came at me at once when I found him. But this saved him. He was spotted because of this shirt. And he was dry. He figured out a place to go and hunker down for 48 hours during that 1.5 feet of snow. That's why he wasn't spotted. Basically shivering the weight off his body. But he's home now. And he's home because of everyone who played a part. Whether you prayed, whether you shared, I'm not a religious person. But damn, all of that energy that you put out into the world, that we put out into the world, is what I believe created this miracle and brought Sabu back. This is the story of a miracle that had a happy ending And I really want to thank Jamie, Heather, everybody else. But those two just brought life, saved life, and I'll be forever grateful to you. And if you were moved by the story, if you were following along, take a moment. They don't ask for any money. They never asked me for a thing. Hell, I had to like pull teeth to get them to let me pay for their breakfast because they didn't want me paying for anything. They rely solely on donations, and they don't do it for the donations. If you have the means, check them out. Check out the website. Go donate, say thank you, say hi. The way that we all came together was something just magical, and I thank you all for helping, for watching. And I'm going to include Sabu in more of these YouTube videos. I hope you love your fur babies and give them a big hug. And thanks so much.
Now today was a very good day for this guy, and a huge thanks to Ladies in the Trap and Anna down there and everybody else.
The best chef in the land.
Oh my God, yeah, she did all the cooking. She drew Sabu back into existence, into our existence, and he was gone for 5 days. I don't know how he survived. Honestly, like last night, negative 11 degrees when we rolled out. I was in autopilot for a while, and I was hopeful the whole time, but I'm not gonna lie, this morning was a little bit rough with the cold weather, and somehow Sabu survived it. I don't know how. I wish he can talk to tell us, but I learned so much from you guys. Really, I did.
We're happy to help you.
There's so many things that when a dog goes missing that you think that it's just call his name, yeah. But there's because of their planning, and really, like, you guys have done this so many times, but it's funny because it doesn't quite make sense to us normal folk that don't deal with lost dogs all the time. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this story. It was very sad throughout, but it's very happy now, and I hope you picked up a few things because I learned a lot. And yeah, again, like, thank you guys. This really would not have happened without your expertise and knowing how to get inside these little fearful brains when they're in fight or flight. And Sabu says a huge thanks to everybody. Yay. Well, we won't be needing this anymore. No more lost. We can turn that frown upside down. Oh, Sabu.
Can you steal a kiss? Can I steal a kiss?
Look, ready? And it's a video. Oh. You happy to be home? Yeah. I mean, home's just wherever we are. Home is me. Yeah. Oh. Look at this spoiled boy.
Cypress trees and smoke, carved like lovers.